On today's DNVR Broncos podcast, we are breaking down the 14th training camp practice, and boy, was it good for some people and a little tough for others. We're going to dive into all of that starting now. The Broncos are back on the practice field today to kick off the second preseason week. And we really never left. So we are back as well. We were out of practice. We're going to break it down live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. The DNVR Broncos Podcast with Ryan Koenigsberg, Henry Chisholm. We got you here behind the mic, and Zac Stevens rocking and rolling with you today. It's a hot one. It feels like training camp now, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it was really hot. There was a moment after we were allowed in, which was new, where we were standing in the shade. And I was like, oh, this is actually kind of nice. It's kind of cool. But then it got hot.
Yeah,
it's not even that hot compared to like last week.
It feels hot. I don't know.
It did feel hot.
I'm sweating. At least my car was hot. And
you
it
guys
was
are both looking a little sunburned.
Shoot. Yeah, the past week I've been getting my sun in, that's for sure.
Nice.
Joint practice did me in. Out in San Francisco, no shade.
I know.
Anywhere to be found. So it was a toasty one. And speaking of San Francisco and the Broncos being back, guys, Henry kind of mentioned it. There was a little difference in practice today. One for the media. Maybe that was one of the 14 things that Sean was able to change to get right, was allowing the media to enter later and not go as far, but not a big deal. The other, Broncos had to switch some things up after their first preseason game because they didn't land until I think 2.5 hours after they were supposed to from San Francisco. And Sean, and I think this is an important thing, Sean really prioritizes sleep and rest for the players. So the Broncos didn't get home until 3:30 a.m. on Sunday morning after the plane was stuck on the runway taken off from, I believe, San Jose. So Broncos didn't get back, so that pushed practice back a little bit today. But no delay a game here. We're still on schedule regardless of what happens. So Sean did change things up a little bit today. I don't know if this was part of it, but Broncos were not in pads today. I think everyone was expecting them to be in pads after having a day off yesterday. But no pads today. They're back in pads tomorrow, and then joint practice against the Arizona Cardinals on Thursday. And there's going to be some changes with joint practice, which we'll get into later. But that's kind of the update on where the Broncos stand entering week 2 of preseason.
All right. I think a lot of times Sean does the opposite of what everyone expects. Like everyone's, oh, he's going to be pissed. He's going to have them out in practice, out in pads, running and tackling and all that stuff. And usually when you think that, he does the opposite of that.
Yeah, he absolutely does. And so today, Sean probably had every reason to be upset at the podium with the way the starting offense looked in practice today. Henry, how would you categorize the Broncos offense? First team, I should say.
Not good. I mean, the 7-on-7s were good, and Jarrett Stidham in particular was really, really good. But outside of that, once they got into the team stuff, offense was not good. Certainly not good.
Let's just dive into it.
Okay.
So that because, we already have people in the Toyota chat saying
that this is a clickbait title.
And
I feel like it's really straightforward.
It's extremely straightforward, and honestly, probably should have been way more intense on the negativity side with the way things were today. It's one practice, so let me reset. We do this show after every single practice, after every single game, so that we can give you the lowdown of what's happening.
Yep.
We understand it's just one practice. We're not going to make this bigger than what it is, but also we're not standing out there for 3 hours every single day to then come here and not talk about practice. That's what we're out there for, is to talk about practice.
Well, and if we did one show a week, you take a big old sample size and pick out what you think the most important parts were and then do it that way. But that's not the world that we live in. We do a show every day, so we talk about every day in a vacuum.
I guess we're trying to say is Bo's cooked. That's it.
That'll
He's
do it
done.
for the show. Tune in next week.
That's like, I don't know. People are in a weird place right now because even yesterday, I said I wasn't panicking. I wasn't freaking out. I meant about that game, and people are like, you guys are overreacting. I'm like, how is that overreacting? I don't think it's possible to be overreacting and say
Yeah, very, very true. So why don't we do, I think so, people appreciated when we went play-by-play through the joint practice last week. So let's do that again. And we can let you guys make up your mind if you want to. And we will start with 7-on-7, where Henry, I thought the exact same thing that you did during 7-on-7. I was like, oh, Bo is back, baby. He is bounced back from that performance that he had in San Francisco in the preseason game, which all of us watched. He's back because he was as sharp as can be in 7-on-7. Henry, you want to take us through it, or you want me to?
Sure. So 3rd and 3, converts it with an out to Lucas Kroll. 3rd and 5
For about
converts
10
it-
yards.
Yeah. 3rd and 5 converts it with a slant to Evan Ingram.
Sharp route from Evan.
3rd and 7 doesn't get it. It's like a scramble drill, which means in a real game probably a sack or a throwaway. But does complete the pass eventually to Caleb Lohner, but it was just short. It was for 6 yards on 3rd and 7. Then 3rd and 9, they got the comeback to Courtland Sutton in front of Pat Surtain for a first down.
This
So
was
3 for 4.
This is the pass of the day for Bo, and this is when I was like, okay, Bo is so back right now. He's about to light up practice because Pat Surtain was in the best coverage that you can be in. In fact, Henry, I don't know your angle, but my angle, I thought for a chance that Pat had picked it off. Now, it would have been very difficult, but I for sure thought at least there was no chance the ball got through because Court's on the ground kind of picking this thing off because Pat's smothering him in coverage. Pat goes down to break up the pass, and somehow Courtland comes up with it. So I'm like, okay, if Bo can get that one by Pat when he's just in incredible coverage, he is hot. So he starts 4 for 4 and 7-on-7. Life is feeling good for the offense, and I, again, thought that was just going to carry over after that good start in 7-on-7. So you take that with a couple of grains of salt. It's not the full team like the team period. And then we go to team period, and it did feel like a shorter practice in terms of the number of reps they got, so that's also important to throw out. 3 full team periods today from the Broncos. And Henry, why don't you take us through that first team period?
So, 1st and 10, they were like moving the ball, but it wasn't like based on what actually happened the play before. So it starts with the 1st and 10, wind up with a blitz. Jonathan Cooper's in there. Alex Singleton's in there. Probably would have been a sack.
Yep.
Bo tries to check it down to a running back, misses the throw. Really not good.
Yeah, I mean, that one, like you said, it's so many people were in the backfield. The pressure was right away. It was instant. Jonathan Cooper, Alex Singleton in there.
Clickbait, overreacting.
Yep, clickbait. 2nd and 4, Jonathan Cooper wins again. That's a sack against Mike McGlinchey.
Yeah, I even had it as a run, so I don't even know what exactly happened. But yeah, Jonathan Cooper.
That's
again,
right. It was a stuffed run.
Just remember how many times you say Jonathan Cooper on this possession.
That was a
Clickbait,
tackle for loss.
Overreacting.
Then another tackle for loss for Jonathan Cooper on the next play on a 3rd and 2. There's a little check down to J.K. Dobbins, who lost 2 yards probably
That's
because
exactly
Cooper's
what
right
I had. So that was Bo's first completion in team period, and like you said, Jonathan Cooper just blew up a little screen pass, or a little swing pass, I should say. So loss of 2. So
Just one play, doesn't matter.
Yep.
So Bo one completion to start off in team,
And then
1 for 2 for -2 yards.
Okay.
Finish it off 1st and 10. They handed off to R.J. Harvey, who had a nice run up the middle. That was also the play they rotate out their defensive lineman. So, you know.
We'll get to RJ Harvey later, but remember that play that Henry just said. As he said, it was a good cut up the middle. Okay, so not the best, not the worst. Okay, so let's move on to the next team period here.
So now they're in the red zone. It's 1st and 10 from the 15. Courtland Sutton runs a fade up the sideline. Riley Moss is kind of on his back. Ball is overthrown, so Court didn't even have a chance, but even if it was right there, good coverage, who knows what would have happened. 2nd and 5 from the 10-yard line. It's a run up the middle, maybe like 2 yards for J.K. Dobbins. Then they gave him a 3rd and goal from the 8. That's Jonathan Cooper beating Frank Crum, and that was either a sack or a throwaway. Either way, not good. And then it wraps up with a 3rd and goal from the 5, where you try like a slot corner. It was good coverage from Jaquan McMillan on Troy Franklin, but the throw didn't really give him a chance.
Yep, exactly. 100%. So you're leaving that period and you're like, okay, not great. But there's more football to be had. And then we get to the final team period here, and it's the move the ball one.
Yep.
And after the way Bo started in 7-on-7s, 2 rougher periods for him. But I'm thinking like, okay, this is where he can reset the narrative on today. In fact, because those middle 2 periods weren't disastrous, it's not like they were interception after interception. Like he could actually probably win the day with this move the ball period. Henry, were you able to figure out exactly what the situation was? I have an idea, but I wasn't able to see the scoreboard.
Yes. So they have the ball at their own 34-yard line. It's 1st and 10. Each side has 1 timeout. The game is 10-10 with 1 minute and 1 second left in the second quarter. So you just want points, but as soon as you get close, then you're thinking touchdown, set, field goal.
Yep, that's exactly it. And Sean made it pretty clear that the offense, to be successful in this period, looking to get a field goal at least, and then once they get to that certain position on the field, then they turn their attention to a touchdown to be successful. But he's looking to come away with points and to be up at halftime going into the half.
Yep. 1st and 10, again, they're at their own 34. Gets Adam Troutman on a cross, picks up 15 yards. I think got out of bounds on that one too, so clock stops.
Sounded like there was some miscommunication with the defense, just with the way they were yelling at each other in the secondary. And Troutman was open. It was a good find from Bo.
And Riley probably would have hit him. I believe that's the one where Riley was kind of crashing him. I popped him.
That's why he actually didn't get out of bounds, is because they said that Riley would have hit him. So hurry up to the line of scrimmage. And this seemed like it was just almost an intentional incomplete pass, just like get it going quick.
Maybe. I thought he was trying to get Adam Troutman, but he missed the throw. It was just an out route.
You're right. That was.
Okay. So now it's 2nd and 10. You've got 38 seconds left. And they're still at the good 49-yard line. The one they want to be on. It's an out route. It's Troy Franklin working. Talanoa Funga's out there. I didn't see who was underneath. It's zone coverage, though. And Troy catches it on the sideline, gets out of bounds with 33 seconds left. And now they're to the 35-yard line. Great
throw. Great catch from Troy. Troy just continues to come up in the big situations, able to get his feet down. And now you're like, okay, do you know how much time is left, Henry?
33 seconds.
33 seconds. They still got a timeout. Like you said, now they're in field goal range. It's a 53-yard field goal. Still plenty of time to get closer. And it feels like Bo is turning the narrative on the day to be in his favor now.
Yep. Pressure in the backfield, throws it away. It looks like it was Q Robinson who was back there. Is that who you had?
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. Now 27 seconds, still at the 35, 2nd and 10. You get Marvin Mims on an out route in front of Riley Moss. That's one that Riley was not happy about. He gets out of bounds. 5 yards there.
This was an incredible, 5-6 yards. This was an incredible catch by Marvin Mims. I mean, the ball was probably placed out of bounds. It was a good throw by Bo, too. Placed out of bounds. Marvin catches it, gets both feet in as he's falling to the ground. Really good catch. It was really good to see both Troy and Marvin be able to catch passes right at the out of bounds, the sideline. Yeah, that's the word I was thinking of. Right at the sideline and get out of bounds. That's exactly what you want in these situations. When you only have one timeout left, you don't want to burn clock. So right now, Bo's doing it. He's moving down the field. His receivers are coming up with big plays. Adam Troutman is coming up with big plays. There has been some pressure, but not as much pressure as there had been earlier in the day. And then how much time is left?
23 seconds. And on that, so that quick out is something that Sean was really working on those receivers with at the beginning of practice.
Yes.
So the Marvin takes it and does exactly what he said.
Yep, he absolutely was. And then so we're looking at 23 seconds left.
Yep, 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5 from the 30. So we're looking at a 47, 48-yard field goal right now. Got him exactly where Sean Payton wants. You still have that timeout. And there's one final play, and we'll get to that after I give a shout out to our friends over at Bet365. They're back on the Broncos show, but they haven't gone anywhere in our hearts. We've been using Bet365 with that code DNVR365. If you want to get in on any action, now is the time. We got preseason games. Henry just had so much success
Sure
betting
did.
preseason games. So
6 for 8 on a round robin parlay is pretty good.
incredible.
Those are all parlays inside.
With
as
what,
well.
like plus $10,000 or something like that?
It was pretty big. The payout was pretty big.
So
That's sick.
maybe you don't wait till the regular season. You get in at Bet365 right now. And if you get in right now and use that code DNVR365, sign up, use that code, deposit $10, place a $5 bet, and you're going to get $150 in bonus bets in your account, win or lose. And then you can bet on preseason games this week. Broncos, 7-point favorite over the Cardinals over at Bet365 right now. We know the Broncos, week 1 against the Titans, are the biggest favorite in week 1 over at Bet365. I think it's plus 7.5 or minus 7.5, minus 8 for the Broncos right now. So you can get in and use bonus bets to bet on the Broncos right now. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary over at Bet365. Must be 21 and older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
I put my entire account on Shador Sanders' 2+ passing touchdowns on Friday night. And then I just rolled over those winnings into Broncos -7 on Saturday.
Come on now. Come on.
That's
What
pretty
were the
good.
odds for Shador?
It was like plus 180 or something.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to both of you on the big weekend.
And then I was trying to bet up the Broncos line as high as I possibly could, but they don't really let you do that in preseason.
They do not.
Oh. Well, you would have been right.
Because I don't
Yep.
think they would have let me go over 21.
No.
It probably would have
No.
been like 19 or something.
Honestly, you might have got
would've been
20
nice.
and a half.
Yeah.
And it would have been perfect.
Cake Mortgage is also awesome. For those of us who've made a lot of money recently, maybe it's time to buy some properties. And Cake Mortgage can help with that. If you're somebody who freelances or owns your own business, just somebody who doesn't have traditional income that's typically shown up in a W-2, it can be tough to find a mortgage. Cake Mortgage has a whole bunch of answers for you. They can help you out. In particular, they can help if you want to buy an investment property. It's a really cool system that they put together. Basically, somebody comes out, appraises it, and says, if you buy this place, you're going to get this much money per month in rental income. That's what it's worth. And if that's about what your mortgage payment is, there's a good chance that they can approve you on your loan. Whole bunch of really cool stuff like that that you should definitely check out. You can go to or you want to call 800-EAT-CAKE. That's 800-EAT-CAKE. Again, call 800-EAT-CAKE to get a bigger slice of the American dream. Call now, or you can visit cakehome.com to read our 5-star review and to get started. Cake Mortgage Corp, equal housing lender, NMLS number 1734623, licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply.
We've got a very animated crowd in the Twitter chat today. Why don't you just hit us with a thumbs up when you're in there?
I'm about to tell you, I'll just hide it. I can't read this anymore.
I know it's okay. It's August right now.
No, there hasn't even been an opinion shared on this show yet.
No opinions. Just
I think I said Bo's cooked.
Oh yeah,
Yep,
you did.
I've seen enough.
People are really mad about the thumbnail too.
I don't. Even the headline literally says, "Bonek struggles as Troy Franklin and Jarrett Stidham stay hot."
And we'll get to Troy. Well, we've already mentioned Troy
just what
Franklin.
happened.
And we'll get to Jarrett Stidham, but I feel like people want to know about Bo. And the thumbnail is, oh no, Bo. That's what I said with this next play. So let's reset. 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 from the 30 in field goal range. 23 seconds left. Broncos still have a timeout. So what Sean is looking for here, I would imagine, is a first down out of bounds, or actually a first down anywhere. Since you still have a timeout, ideally you get a first down out of bounds so that you get closer. You can still put together a couple of plays with 23 seconds left. Ideally, you want to save your timeout. But worst case scenario is to turn the ball over. It's not bad here to have an incompletion, or even to have like a 3-yard sack because you have a timeout. You can call the timeout. Then you're still a 50-yard field goal away from going into halftime. We know Will Lutz is money from right along that area. So you should be up 3 points going into half right here.
Yeah, you would think. And so they call like a sprint out. So you get Bo out of the pocket, let him create a little bit. He gets out there.
Spontaneous, as Sean would say.
Yeah. 23 seconds, 3rd and 5. And decided, I think it was initially an out from Michael Bandy. He leaks up the sideline. Maybe it was a designed out and up. Whatever it is, Jaquan McMillan is on him. And Bo throws the jump ball. And while Jaquan McMillan is not known as like a jump ball cornerback, guarding Michael Bandy, means that he has the easy win there, and he goes up and picks it off, and it isn't even close.
And it's not even just a jump ball where it's just those two isolated. There was a crowd there.
There was traffic as well.
And I literally didn't even know it was Michael Bandy because Jaquan was just so all over him. And it wasn't a jump ball where Michael Bandy had the positioning if only he was 4 inches taller and had Courtland Sutton's size. No, Jaquan was in front. Michael Bandy was never open. No receiver was going to be open with the way Jaquan had the coverage there. And it was just maybe the worst decision that Bo has made in camp so far. And that's why it was like, oh no, Bo, you did what you needed to do up until that point. You didn't need a touchdown. You didn't need to force it. Just throw it out of bounds. Now you failed that drive. Even after having 3 good plays, it's all wiped away in Sean Payton's mind from how he wanted this drive to go, because you tried to go for 7 points that was never there instead of just taking the 3. And when it comes to Bo, he doesn't do those things. He does not make these head-scratching decisions often. That's why this one was just like, man, that's just so weird and uncharacteristic.
Yeah. All that said, I'll just go back to what I've said about every Bo Nix interception during this training camp, which is just like, okay, you get to press and see what you can get away with here. And you just file it away and say okay, I can't do that. You learn from this one. You just say dang, I don't know what I was thinking there. It wasn't really there. In a game, I'll just toss this away. We'll get our 3 and go into go into the half. So I felt that way about it. When he threw his first picks of training camp, which was I think 6 practices or 7 practices in. I feel that way now. It's definitely not an acceptable outcome in a game. To me, in practice, it's okay, you're trying to force it. You're trying to make a little something happen, trying to get a little confidence going. And you learned the hard way that you can't do that.
So we have Zach Anderson and Chadwick in the Twitter chat agreeing with you, say thank you for bringing that up. And I want to agree with you, Ryan. Just I can't, because Sean's literally been asked that question. Is it okay to force things in practice, or should it be more of a game-like situation? And Sean said just last week, maybe it was 10 days ago, that he wants Bo to operate like it's a game scenario.
It's exploring your game. That's what it was.
Yeah, he said, I don't think we're ever exploring.
Yeah, and it said, I don't think we're ever exploring. So it just goes against what Sean has said. That's just why I don't feel as good about it.
Yeah, and I mean, again, there's plenty of things to dissect and pick apart about it. Number one being the intended receiver. If you're going to try to throw it up, Michael Bandy, not your guy.
Yep.
But I'm just, I feel like we were, I feel like maybe the media was grading Bo on a curve today because of the preseason game. Preseason game didn't go the way people wanted. So then today everyone expected okay, we're going to need to see them do a little extra today. And it didn't happen. And then the practice ends on a really bad play. So then it's okay, what's going on here type of thing. I'm starting to get a little worried. And to me, I'm just viewing every practice within a vacuum, just go. And then there was a comment from a legendary Nuggets commenter, 5555555-ish.
Of course, yes.
Earlier in the show, who said something along the lines of good reminder. This is a good reminder that growth isn't linear. And I think it's a good reminder for people in all facets of life that you always just want growth to be linear. You want your golf game to just get better every time you go out there. You want your company to just grow every single day when you show up for work. And it just never works that way. It's not
except in height.
That would assume that you grow the same amount all the time.
Okay, that would be what linear is. Yes. But I guess there are no setbacks. So you're right. It's never linear.
So for me, it's okay, we would love to just see Bo go out every single practice, be better than the one before that. It's more of you have to zoom out and say will Bo be better this week 1 than he was last week 1? Yes, undoubtedly. Will he be better by the end of this season than he was at the end of the last season or the beginning of this season? Yes, undoubtedly. But if you get too in the weeds of looking for it day over day, it's not going to happen and it'll be disappointing.
But at some point, I do want to see 2 good practices from Bo put together.
Sure.
And I still don't know if I've seen that 14 practices. And that's why it's just this is interesting now. But
we do have to remember how good the defense is.
Totally, 100%. I do think it's important, though. I don't think the media was grading this on a curve. I think today was a tough practice for Bo.
Yeah,
absolutely. Not on a curve. Just,
I think if this,
straight up. That's why we went through all the plays.
No. I'm just saying, I think that if this happened last Monday, the reaction would be a little bit softer.
Yes.
The takeaway is Bo struggled.
I'm not just talking
right
about
there.
but I'm not just talking about you guys. I'm just talking about the general vibe.
Yes.
And maybe it's also the fans' reaction to the media's reporting is like a little bit more uptight today
because of the preseason.
Preseason game.
Sure.
And which is
what you're
actually
saying.
kind of what I was saying about the preseason game and why it was disappointing to me is like, okay, well now everything's a little wound up tighter. And so I just, I think that I'm trying to just look at it as, okay, it was just one practice. It was one really bad decision. Yeah. Let's move on from it and get it going. Bo, not us.
Yeah, we're doing great. I don't think that I'm not going to get concerned about a practice. It's definitely not something you want to see. But like some people say in the chat, you just sometimes have to go out there and learn from your mistakes, which is in some ways true, but you shouldn't need to throw a jump ball to Michael Bandy with him in terrible position to know that that's a bad idea. That's like saying I, for example, have never thought, I should reach into a fire and just pick up one of the logs because that is so clearly a bad idea. I don't need to actually do it to learn the lesson. And so I think that I like the positivity at the same time. It's just I don't know how you possibly make that decision. Again, it's a practice though. And so who knows what's going through his head? Who knows what else? I'm just not worried about it. And for those who don't know Michael Bandy, because I'm sure there is somebody who doesn't know a lot about Michael Bandy, who we're talking about is a 5'10" slot receiver. Who actually played
looks like me.
Yeah, he played for the Colorado.
He is.
I think they were the Raptors at the time. He was their captain. Very much a ground-based, below the rim type of player. And so that's why this is such a crazy
decision.
And
probably doesn't have many hops. Big time hops.
Yeah.
He's a guy that is going to be on the practice squad for as long as he wants. He's a very crafty receiver.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think both can be
rat, true. What other things we could use about
first
him?
in, last
yeah,
out.
First in, last
the
out.
lunch pail. Don't forget about his lunch pail.
Yeah, lunch pail.
But yeah, I think both can be true. That terrible decision. Never ever do that. But also, make a bad decision in a game and then I'll start to worry.
Okay, so let's...
Of regular season game, because he also did that.
Let's jump into some positives, because there definitely were some positives out there today, including at the quarterback position after I tell you about a positive that you can take advantage of right now, and that is our friends over at Ent Credit Union. Broncos Country, this one is for you. Ent Credit Union, the official banking partner of the Denver Broncos, has created a Broncos checking account that's built for fans like us. It's loaded with the kinds of perks that will get any Broncos fan fired up. There's no surprise fees, and some of those benefits are you get 10% off food and gear at game days at Empower Field at Mile High. You get a Broncos branded debit card to rep the team. It's the only place that you can get a Broncos branded credit card. So you got to go over to Ent to get this. If you're going to go to a Broncos game, you're going to get discounts when you're at the game itself. And you'll get the chance to win tickets to a Broncos home game by simply paying with your Broncos checking debit card. Every 10 swipes enters you for another chance to win. So if you're ready to bank like a Bronco, go to ent.com/DNVR. That's ent.com/DNVR and sign up for Broncos checking today. Ent Credit Union is insured by NCUA, membership required. Annual percentage yield, account requires associated Ent Broncos debit card.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. Henry, you're from the woods.
Yeah.
What's a hawk sound like?
That's pretty good.
Not bad. Yeah.
Good.
That's more of a crow.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. I think you thought about screeching and then realized that you just didn't have that.
It's
pitch.
more like whistly from them. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, shout out to our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. Best in the game when it comes to roofing. And my favorite thing about them is that they are true diehard Colorado sports fans. They're here at the bar for big playoff games. They're hanging out at DNVR scrambles and golf tournaments. They're always around, and they're a true local business, which is the type of business that I love to support. So if you're looking for a new roof on your home and you want a place that uses quality materials, has decades of experience, a quick response times, and our huge DNVR and just Denver sports supporters, you can get a free no obligation roof and property inspection, a free in-depth photo report, and much more from our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. So hit them up and call 720-771-8921 or go to redhawkroofing.com and tell them that DNVR sent you.
According to Mop Your Grass in the Toyota chat, a red-tailed hawk is actually the noise we think of when you think of an eagle.
This is true.
Wow.
Yep.
And also, shout out to our guy, Cody, who says he used the code DNVR over at shadyrays.com for 35% off, and he loves his sunglasses. So shout out, Cody. Shout out to using our code, supporting us, also helping yourself get a discount as well.
Just putting the code in Cody.
Yeah, very good.
Oh, yeah.
You almost made it too complicated.
I did.
And then you just realized, no, it's a simple one here.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get into some positives. Speaking of that clickbait headline, let's talk about the other clickbait parts. Troy Franklin stays hot. We talked about the catch he had on the sideline going out of bounds. It was exactly what you wanted to be. I believe it was for about 10 yards, got the first down, caught it from Bo Nix. Great job. It's not the old Troy Franklin where it's only deep balls. No, he's working the middle of the field, going out of bounds, finding separation. I believe it was zone defense as well, and he was still able to make a catch, go out of bounds. Really like that. But the play of the day, probably for the entire team, was what he did with Jarrett Stidham in team. Yeah, I don't believe it was 7-on-7. It was team.
No, I think it was 7-on-7.
It was 7-on-7. Okay.
Yeah.
But Troy Franklin caught a 50-yard touchdown pass from Jarrett Stidham. He just beat the coverage. And they even tried to put a safety over top, and nope, wasn't happening there. Jarrett threw a very, very beautiful pass, and Troy came down with the catch literally as he was entering the end zone. Love to see it. There's just no doubt that this isn't like, Troy's hot for a couple of days. Let's see if he can stay hot. We've been talking about this day in and day out for 3 or 4 weeks now. Troy Franklin has certainly arrived, and you just love to see the consistency.
You know what we should change the headline to for the people who want clickbait?
What?
Is there a quarterback controversy brewing in Denver?
Oh, that would have been clickbaity.
That would have been clickbait.
Answer is yes.
No, shout out to Troy, man. This is probably my favorite story of the offseason. It was just the transformation of Troy Franklin. And I said it pretty much every time we've talked about him, but like, you put Troy Franklin into like even just the middle tier of like number 2 receivers, and it transforms the outlook for the Broncos.
Yep.
We weren't even talking about him as an option for number 2 receiver 6 months ago.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that he's got a chance to not just take the job, but run with it. And who knows where he could go from there. So
Number 1 receiver.
He could.
I think it's possible by the end of the year.
I mean, he's tall. He has
tall, everything.
He has long arms, and he's really fast, and he can run routes.
Just don't drop the football.
There you go.
Also, I think sometimes the drops are almost more acceptable when there's volume. Like, it's really hard when you don't really get many opportunities, and those like 2 drops in like 20 opportunities really stand out. And that doesn't mean they wouldn't stand out if he had like 100 targets or whatever. But I think that then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he has a drop problem, but also he does all this other stuff. And the fans will get all enraged, as they like to do, as we can see. But I think that it works out better when you just get to keep catching the ball over and over again.
Not everyone understood you were joking when you said there's a quarterback controversy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
no.
Well,
they're coming for me.
Well, since you guys brought up your words, not mine, quarterback controversy in Denver.
Don't do something stupid right now.
You guys did it. You brought it up.
Yeah.
Jarrett Stidham looked really, really good today. I mean, he was
And it doesn't matter.
14 of 15. No, it doesn't. But we're at practice. We're to talk about if the backup quarterback looks good. And
well, not
he was
really.
14 of 15 in the preseason game. A backup quarterback is important.
Like I said yesterday, upper tier backup quarterback.
And that's what he's looked like the past couple of days. Actually, Stiddy's been pretty good, but he looked really good today. 14 of 15 in the game. Then he turns around and has a really good practice. He hit Troy Franklin for that 50-yard touchdown. He had Evan Ingram in the next period for I don't know, 20-yard touchdown. Now, Evan Ingram, fantastic catch. He's flying across the middle. Right as he's entering the goal line, the ball hits him. He's fully extended. It's literally a fingertip catch. You can see him get like 5 fingers between his 2 hands on the ball. He makes the really difficult catch. I think he would have absolutely been blown up on that play, so it's a good thing it wasn't in pads, but comes down with that. Then in the red zone period where we talked about Bo, Stiddy goes out and has 2 touchdowns. There was a little controversy if Caleb Lohner was able to hold on to one. I thought he did. Some
Caleb
people
Lohner
said
only scores touchdowns.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought it was that's why I thought it was a touchdown there. And then he hit who was the other tight end? 86. It's the
Caden Prescorn.
Yes, Caden Prescorn for another touchdown. And then he did not get an opportunity to finish practice. Sean Payton ended practice on the Jaquan pick, so weren't able to see what Stiddy was able to do. But I feel a lot more comfortable, truly, with Jarrett Stidham as the backup quarterback now than I did. I thought Stiddy was good. I think he can come in and operate this offense at year 3 for those situations where you need a backup quarterback. It's in a second half of a game where Bo had to leave. It's for a 2-game stretch. I think Jarrett Stidham can go out and just keep the offense in check where it needs to be. And honestly, my confidence in him has grown from watching training camp in the preseason.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. But just to be clear, he could throw a touchdown on every pass that he throws the rest of training camp, and it wouldn't matter.
You were the one to bring it up.
No, I wasn't. I was making a joke. Anyways, I have thought highly of Jarrett Stidham as a backup quarterback for a while now. He's only going to get more and more comfortable in Sean Payton's offense. What I don't like that I'm hearing today has nothing to do with anyone's performance, but I keep hearing like, oh, Jarrett Stidham threw to Troy Franklin. Jarrett Stidham threw to Evan Ingram. Bo Nix was being protected by Frank Crum. Like, what's going on here? We're within striking distance of the season. It's time to have the ones working with the ones and the twos working with the twos.
Yeah.
It's not what Sean Payton thinks.
Well,
Because that's not what he's doing. There is a lot of rotation at receiver. There's been a lot of rotation in training camp. And there has been, Frank Crum was protecting Bo Nix when Jonathan Cooper absolutely threw Frank Crum and then likely would have sacked Bo Nix there. There's been some rotation there at right tackle. I don't know if it's because Mike McGlinchey is not fully healthy. Remember, he missed a couple of days at the beginning of training camp and then wasn't doing full team periods for a couple of days. So I don't know if it's that or if they're just trying to get some experience for Frank Crum and Palcho. But I agree with you, Ryan, but that's just simply not the way Sean Payton's operating. Just like when you say, let's have the ones maybe go up against the twos to make it a little easier on them because of how good this Broncos defense is.
Would be a good idea.
I can see why you say that. That's just simply not how Sean Payton's doing things.
Yeah, and again, like they do rotate a little bit on defense. Like I said, what was it? That first team period, after the first 3 plays, they put in the backup safeties and the backup defensive line. That means there's only one snap where the offense is going against twos there. Again, like you still have Sternad out there because Dre Greenlaw wasn't practicing. So there is a little bit, and you see some rotation. But again, the rotation more so on the offensive side. And today in particular, like you said, for whatever reason, they were giving Mike McGlinchey a bunch of plays off, Garrett Bowles, Ben Powers, and that just meant some of the younger guys got opportunities. Maybe it was because they wanted those young guys to get opportunities. Maybe it's just like a half rest day. Maybe it's because of the game, but there was some of that.
Yeah, and just like there was on both sides of the ball. Speaking
Don't like
of... What?
Don't like it.
That's fair.
That's fine for me for like the first 2 weeks of camp.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or the first week, whatever, 2 weeks worth of practices of camp.
First 2 weeks.
So this is no. So we are entering the 3rd week in which there have been camp practices.
4th.
4th?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely over it.
Let's get into actually some. I thought some interesting comments from Sean Payton. Actually, before we get into those comments, want to wrap up today's practice really quick with some things. Injuries. Dre Greenlaw was back doing some things. He wasn't a full participant. Alex Singleton appears to be fully back. He's doing everything, so that's really good to see. Both of those guys, Sean thought were going to be back last week. Then they did the right thing by keeping them on the sidelines just to make sure they were very, very healthy. I expect Dre Greenlaw to be fully back later this week. We'll see about the joint practice. We'll see about the preseason game. We did see A.T. Perry The
go.
chat's favorite guy. He has returned off the PUP heated individuals today. So look for number 87 to be out there. He's fighting for a practice squad spot right now because we kind of know who the 6 receivers are that are going to make the team. And Michael Burton, he's quietly not practiced for like 2 weeks. He was back today. So
Nice.
that was good to see. Reese Taylor and Nate Adkins, 2 of Ryan's favorite guys, did not practice today, despite what they did in the game. Were you impressed with what they did in the game, Ryan?
No,
Really? Why not?
because I don't know what it was.
Oh, they didn't play in the game. So you were right about that. Yeah, very impressive. So I believe that's your injury update.
Yep.
Did I miss anything, Henry?
No.
Okay.
I do love the question in the chat from Fortnite33 who asks, how did Bo Nix did in practice today? I would say rewind a bit.
I like the person who said we gave zero context about him throwing to Michael Bandy when I think we gave every bit of context you could possibly give about that.
Yeah, I even went back to like he's a former rugby player.
Yeah.
Captain of
that's
his
what I
rugby
mean.
team. Yeah, like
really-
you couldn't ask for much more.
That's really impressive.
I guess I didn't say he went to the Chargers first and had a pretty
What
good
about,
stretch
like,
there.
His hometown? Any anecdotes about his upbringing?
Michael Bandy's from California.
Okay.
That'd be my bet.
Seems-
I would guess like a ways out from LA, but kind of in that area.
Southern, but not that southern.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
So let me get to one more thing from practice today. We mentioned RJ Harvey having that run in practice today, where it was probably the best run of camp. You guys aren't even paying attention to any of this right now. How am I supposed
paying
to?
attention.
Sorry,
Okay,
I'm
thank-
just that
thank
Michael
you.
Bandy's from La Mirada, California, city in southeast LA County, and I nailed that so hard. Like, that was incredible.
That was impressive.
I nailed it.
Yeah, here says no.
I couldn't have been more specific.
Well, I
not
mean,
in
it's
LA, but kind of like
basically LA.
a ways out from LA. Oh, yeah.
That was a.
La Mirada.
He tried. At least he tried.
I do say that.
Okay, so back to the football field. RJ Harvey, you guys said yesterday he bounced a couple runs outside too much. I thought it was just like one, so that was paying attention to him and running the ball today. He had an opportunity to force a run to the outside today on the right side, and he did a great job cutting it back up the middle, got 7 to 15 yards. It was one of the best runs that I've seen in training camp, and it's, again, hard to tell what training camp runs look like, but I really love to see him make that decision, stretch it out, and instead of bouncing it, to then pop up the middle and read his blockers, hesitate that extra second. And that's actually something Sean talked about after practice today. He was asked, do you feel like RJ took too many to the outside, bounced too many? And I think you guys will like Sean's comment. And it just shows how much faith and confidence he has in RJ. So let's hear from Sean.
Yeah, there's one of them. You know, look, at the end of the day, and the great skill set he has is that ability, speed-wise, but he can get through the line of scrimmage the same way. There was one where, you know, we felt like, hey, you know, trust it, be a little bit more patient. But he's an extremely instinctive runner. We're gonna get a number of looks to see him between the tackles. It's all there on college tape, and the best thing is he's such a willing learner. You know, he's very not critical of himself, but man, he wants to please, and he's very coachable. So yeah, there's certain runs, and as we get into looking at Arizona, their front, and you know what we want to feature that I think, you know, he'll be comfortable with.
So I think we're still going to see JK as a starter week 1, but I think, and pretty comfortable saying this, that RJ Harvey is going to be getting the majority of the touches come the second half of the season. And I think that's going to be so exciting with how explosive he is. And as Sean said, like, yeah, he might take one to the outside too much, but for the most part, he's very willing learner, very smart, and going to learn this system quickly. So I'm really excited for Harvey.
Yeah. I mean, he just has to get out of the habit of thinking he can score a touchdown on every run, and he's not the first NFL running back coming out of college that had to learn that. And and he'll learn very quickly. He probably already learned from training camp in that game that like these linebackers are incredibly fast. These defensive ends are incredibly fast. You're just not going to be able to beat anyone you want to the edge when you don't have the angle. And he'll eventually learn that like you can just take one step, cut up field, and get 5 yards, and everyone will be happy. You move on to the next play.
Yep. I agree. I mean, it's like we said, there was that last run where there's a whole lane right there, and he just decided to go that way. It's like, can't do that. You need to take advantage of every opportunity, and sometimes that means just going through the hole and picking up your 3-4 yards.
All right, Henry, I want your final opinions of practice. Before we talk about something interesting that Sean mentioned, what?
Oh, sorry, there was more. I want to hear your final opinions of practice before we talk about something interesting. But then you continued on that Sean said.
Payton said.
It would have been funnier if you just left.
It would have been.
Henry, I do want to hear your thoughts, but I want to hear something interesting first. So let's give a shout out to our friends over at Red Hawk Roofing. Are you guys?
I already got Red Hawk Roofing.
Oh my goodness, Ryan!
Goodness.
You don't read the right reads.
No, you don't read the right reads, bro.
No, I do.
You read number 4 when you should have read number 3, which made me read number 5 because I was just doing the one after you.
I read number 2, which means I nailed it.
It's 2 every single time. So you just do 1 or 2.
Bro, but you got to just stay in order.
I don't even know which one it is. So we're going to go with number 6, Toyota, right now. And if I would have had a Toyota, I would have been cool my entire ride to DNVR from the field, from practice today. If you just want the best when it comes to your car, Toyota is the car for you. Whether you're looking for the Crown, the Toyota Crown, or a RAV4, or the Land Cruiser, my favorite.
Yep.
The newest one is so freaking cool. The Tacoma, and of course, you compare nearly every Toyota with an iForce Max hybrid engine, which is going to add so much more power, including the Toyota Tundra. You can add that to 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from. So make sure to check them out at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
Shout out to our friends over at Empire today. Best in the business when it comes to flooring. They always nail it. They always deliver. And heck, they did something that I don't think I've ever seen from any other company, which is when we got this floor that we are sitting on and standing on right now installed, they gave us a window of time, and they said we'll be here between 8 and 10. And then they were here before the window even started.
Wow.
Never seen anyone do that before. Usually it's after the window, really.
Yeah.
That's just some of the customer service that you get from them. But you can also get a $350 discount when using promo code DNVR. That's right. $350 off your brand new floor when you use the code DNVR over at Empire Today /DNVR. And you can get all the full details there.
And we hit all the reads.
You just
Look at us.
like,
we did it.
because if you do one, I just assume mine's the next one.
I cannot believe you're blaming me for your inability to just know which two
they
there
have
are.
numbers next to them. You went out of order.
You can take your own advice.
No, you went out of order.
I think it's best I stay out of this. It's more fun when there's no answer.
Start with one, then you do 3, then you do 4.
Okay, so let's get to. I think Sean, without blatantly saying it, said. I mean, he said he's going to do things differently. It appears with joint practice and with the preseason game. So he said this is the first year he's ever had 2 preseason games or joint practices in a preseason. And I think he regrets it. He didn't say that today, but after hearing him talk on the podium for 15 minutes or so, I think he regrets it. I think it's a little too much. One of the things he said was when you have a joint practice, it impacts your day before and it impacts your day after. So it really impacts 3 days because then you have to do more install. You have to kind of cram it in on the first day. Then the second day, you just had a long practice. So that messes some things up as well right before a preseason game. And last week, I think he actually admitted to this straight up that he didn't realize just how much work that the Broncos were going to get in that joint practice against 49ers. And like I told you guys, that's the most plays I've ever seen run in any practice, and I've seen a couple of joint practices. Anytime. It was so many plays. My guess is Kyle Shanahan did that because he knew he wasn't going to play most of his starters in the preseason game. So he said, I'm going to get them extra work right now. And Sean said, no, I played my starters in the preseason. So we're going to get all this work in and then play them on Saturday. He kind of said today that I think he just straight up did say that was too much. It was too much. And that makes me feel better about what happened on Saturday then, because maybe the team truly was worn down. At least to an extent, whereas the 49ers backups weren't as worn down.
I mean, you would never have a rigorous practice
No.
2 days before a game in a real season.
No, Friday's practices 2 days before a game in the regular season are the lightest practices of the week.
Hardly even a practice.
Yep.
Yeah, it's more of a walkthrough.
Yeah.
I think Sean's in, like, he feels the pinch. Like, you're not quite halfway to the season, but, like, the deadlines are starting to, like, creep up on him. It kind of reminds me, like, in high school, sometimes they're, like, the teachers who you get, like, halfway through the semester, and they're like, oh, we're not going to get through all this. Like, we're so far behind where all these classes are supposed to be. I think that's what he's feeling, because you just hit the point where all of a sudden you do start thinking, like, oh, we're 4 weeks away, and we have all of this to get through, to install, to get figured out, and we're wasting days of practice just to go, like, play against somebody else. Mm-hmm. I think that's what he's feeling.
But it was his idea.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that this is a very natural, like, I think everybody
It's like a
feels
little
it.
buyer's remorse.
Like, what do you feel when you're halfway to a deadline?
I've got almost half of the way before I have to start.
Yeah, and he's a
You
little
are
bit more
freaking
organized
crazy.
than that.
That's
A
wild.
little more organized than that, but I think there's some of that feeling where, like, even if you are halfway through, where, like, even if you are on track, you're like, oh boy, we have so much to get through, and the clock is ticking.
Yeah, if I was a coach, we wouldn't even start install until like the Thursday before the first
What
game.
would you be doing? Playing 500?
We would just like be making up games, like, oh, if the ball like lands on this yard line, then you have to do this. Yeah.
The Broncos
We
had
never
that
really
training
thought-
camp practice 3 years ago. Yeah. Really quick, got to give a shout out to Real GM, who says, this is a good show.
Oh, good.
That might be the first time we've heard that in the Twitter chat
Thanks.
today. Who says, you guys give us play-by-play breakdowns. Everyone else only speaks about big picture topics. I love the detail you guys provide. Thank you, Real GM. I'll tell you what, I needed that. So
Yeah.
thank
There
you.
you go.
We're doing a good job. It's important to remember how important practice is. Like, in the words of Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice.
Yes.
Yeah. He
was
said that's a very
definitely-
serious
Yes,
tone.
He
We
was
are
saying
talking
that
about
to tell you how
practice.
important
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yep.
What are we doing today? We're talking about
We're talking about practice.
Yeah, he was really serious about,
Yes.
about
Yeah, and
that.
as Jose says, even though he's been mean in the chat today, he says it's a trash podcast. Just ask Melvin Gordon.
That's true.
Oh, yes, Melvin. Wait, K's stuff is already out?
Let's
Oh,
get to that
boy.
really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that's already out.
Talk K Adams tomorrow.
Let's, yeah.
Okay, so to wrap this up on what Sean said, then he talked about this week. And my guess is joint practice is going to be a little less intense against the Cardinals this week because the Broncos are hosting. So it feels like, the way Sean was saying it, feels like you get a little more control of it when you're hosting. So I wouldn't expect as intense of a joint practice. And then I asked him, how long are the starters going to play because you have a joint practice? And he said less. So expect the starters for a quarter this week. Yeah, Ryan's rolling his eyes. That's honestly how we should all be feeling right now. But it might be best because clearly the Broncos might have been a little worn out last week. So this probably might be the best thing, but we are probably going to see a lot of Stidham, a lot of Sam Ehlinger. He says typically in this second preseason game, starters play quarter and a half. They go into the second quarter. Doesn't sound like it this week.
So everyone all week has been telling us like nothing matters in the preseason. It's all irrelevant. So we don't have to work on Saturday, right?
Heck yeah. There we go.
Let's go.
We're off, baby.
And practice doesn't matter either.
Oh, so we're back.
what are we
We're
doing?
back September 7th?
We'll see you guys then.
Okay, right on. I love this. Okay, so I think that wraps it up for today in terms of.
Yeah.
Oh no, I wanted your final thoughts. I'm
Wait.
sorry,
Oh,
Henry.
right.
I have something I want to get to as well. Something
Jeremy
interesting.
Crawshaw hit some bombs. There was also a couple of them that went sideways, but other than those couple, there was a lot to like. I just doing the games. That's where I'm at. Just in the game, have good punts, and we can feel a lot better. Will Lutt's a little shaky. Missed a real short field goal. And then had some others that were like right next to that upright. Clickbait. Yes, that is clickbait. Had that terrible practice in San Francisco as well. I don't think it's worth keeping an eye on because he's the best kicker in the franchise's history, according to the numbers. But those are the two big things that really stood out.
Okay. Ask me if I'm worried about Bo.
Ryan, are you worried about Bo?
Nope.
Why would you be worried about the backup quarterback?
Wow.
My Bo Nix worry meter is actually at a 0.
Good.
It's not like he blew up training camp last year. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's necessarily one of those like Case Keenum had a damn near perfect training camp. And that doesn't mean that having a perfect training camp makes you bad, but some quarterbacks are just better in the live action. And so I think that once Bo gets out there and gets into the season and gets his rhythm back, I think we're going to see a much more confident and comfortable Bo.
So then does that mean to expect, not expect, but don't be surprised by a slower start? Because you wouldn't assume, saying what you just said, that like it's going to go from not 0 to 100, but 50 to 100 in the first snap of the Titans game, right?
Yeah, probably not. The good thing is the Titans are really bad and the Broncos defense is really good.
Totally agree. And that's kind of what's starting to hit me now is maybe it is not an explosive start from Bo to start the season, but the Broncos are still going to win the first couple of games and it's going to be perfect. But that's kind of where I'm at now is like, I'm not worried about Bo, but the first couple of weeks where maybe I thought he was going to throw 6 touchdowns in those first 2 weeks, maybe it's not like that and that crazy good to start, but the Broncos should still be fine in those games, even with not the best Bo. But we saw him heat up last year. I don't think it's going to take 4 games like it did last year as a rookie. I think that's going to be much shorter, but I wouldn't be surprised.
And that was like not just heating up. That was like a full defrost.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we got to
that's what I'm
up.
saying. It's not going to be that like that.
I think it still could be. I can't get too worried about practice in the preseason games. I think there are individual things you can take away, but again, Bo made a bad decision. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna have to see.
Yep, we will. All right, let's.
That was fun.
We just don't have enough of a sample size yet to know for sure. Like when we watched Todd Helton for whatever it was, 17 years to the Rockies, like he almost always started slow, and then all of a sudden, July would come around and he'd be hitting 295 or 300 again.
Yep, well, Bo will be there. All right, let's get to a lot of super chats today. First, we actually had a couple come in before the show even started. First one from Joe, who says, what's your favorite part of covering the Broncos? Also, do you guys think our offensive line is still a strong unit? That first game has me nervous.
Favorite part of covering the Broncos?
I just like going to practice.
Got to be PR staff, yeah?
I enjoy it.
Oh, of course. It's absolutely the PR staff.
Shout out to you
them.
guys.
I get to talk football and watch football and live football for my job. It's awesome.
Mine is every time we get to travel together. So if it's like, we haven't done it, all 3 of us, in a while, but like when we would go to the Combine or like when we get to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like
those are our best shows too.
I know. And those times are just the best.
Yep.
Really is. Nash comes in. Oh, are you worried about the offensive line, Henry?
No, I'm not worried about the offensive line. Again, maybe I had a little bit lower standards coming in this year. We talked about it yesterday, but I'm not worried about it.
Nash says, after practice, joint practice, and the first preseason game, our offensive line does seem a little concerning. Bo seems to be under pressure a lot, and run game doesn't look good unless running backs make a play. So, Henry, are you worried about the offensive line?
Still not worried, no. Nothing's changed in the last 6-7 seconds, but I would say that when you're focusing on the outside zone running, there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of different like aiming points and trying to get everybody in sync. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is the kind of thing that doesn't pop for even the first half of the season. Like it could take that long to get everybody on the same page. And the fact that they're still like working through it now, it's not a huge. It shouldn't be a huge surprise.
TB007 says, what should be talked about is how Robert Saleh is scheming up the first preseason game. Petty.
I have no feelings about that.
It's a game. Yeah. I don't really mind it either way.
A lot more blitzing in all the preseason games too. So like in the past, you would never see the corner blitz that turns into a safety. Like, that's just not a thing that happens in preseason games or happened. But I'd say watching a bunch of preseason football, there's way more blitzing going on than there was before.
Also, I believe more starters played in the first week of the preseason than like ever before. So teams are just treating this more as like, okay, we're going to do our normal stuff to get ready for the season because preseason shortened. Before we get to the others.
I think teams are tired of seeing their players look like ass in the first 4 weeks of the season.
Scheme it up, Sean.
Yes.
Okay, let's hit these other super chats. We're going to do it in overtime. Go to thednvr.com to view the rest of this conversation in overtime. And that gets back to our super chats. SGT Street says, honestly, better Bo gets it out of his system now than when we're down 3 versus the Chiefs. Yep.
Facts.
Absolutely. Yes. Robert Potts says, Stidham is starting to look too good. Could see a trade too good to pass up coming along.
You have to say who is trading for him. When you say something like that,
Well, it would be like a team who has a quarterback injury soon.
Okay, injury. Vikings have JJ.
Or someone that has a connection to him.
Yeah.
So teams
Josh
he's been on,
McDaniels?
yeah, the Patriots.
Yeah. I mean, they've got Drake May.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of those teams value their backup quarterback any more than Sean does and is willing to overpay.
Alan says, we need to pump the brakes a bit. It's preseason and practice. They haven't even played a regular season snap. Bo is going to have bad moments, and he will have bad games. He's shown he can overcome this. Breathe.
Sounds like a hater to me.
Was that a message to yourself, Alan? Just, you need to calm down, Alan. Calm down.
I don't know.
It's just the preseason. Sheesh.
No, but again, in the words of Allen Iverson, we're talking about practice.
It's true. It's very
This
serious.
is important stuff.
Right.
And then
perfect context.
we're going to round out with Nick's out for Harambe. Says, come on, guys. Just say what you're feeling. Trade Bo and 4 firsts for Justin Herbert. Change Sean in the base. Whoa, we're getting dark here. And only bring him out.
Jeez.
Oh, wow.
This is what I'm talking about. Practice is important. We're talking about practice.
Yes. I wouldn't trade for Herbert ever.
Wow.
Nope. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Broncos are back in pads tomorrow. And I saw Sean Payton's endless interview with Kay Adams today. I think it might still be going on right now. It's going to drop later today. Tomorrow we'll probably be reacting to the good stuff tomorrow. So make sure to stay tuned for that tomorrow. We're going to be breaking it down and practice right around 2 p.m. We'll see you.
Clickbait.
We all silly like the mayor.